Okay, so this is going to be out of 23. So let's just go ahead and put out of 23 at the very top there, because that's how many points this formative is going to be out of. Okay. Number one. Now it does have a W on your copy right here, which means you did have to show work on this one. You had to prove it in some way. This is going to be learning target number 3. Okay. So you could use the number line if you wanted to. I mean, that's one way to do it. I don't think it necessarily really helps you here. So you either need to turn them all to fractions or all to decimals, however you wanted to do it. Okay. So if I wanted, I could make this into, say it the way it's supposed to be said. So I could turn this into 7 and 2/10. And then I got 7 and 1/3. And then what would be a good common denominator to use here, Ansley? 30 would be perfect. 30 would be perfect. Then remember, whatever we do to the top, we must do to the bottom. So that was times 3. So then that would be 6/30. And then this would be times 10. This would be 10/30. So is 7 and 6/30 less than 7 and 10/30, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Okay, so that is the answer. Now, we could roll with that, but let's just prove the other one's incorrect first. The other way you could do it is you could turn 7 and 1/3 into a decimal as well. So you could make it 7 point something, and then you just have to do 1 divided by 3. This is where you have to have your decimal, add your decimal, and then add a 0, and then you would get 3. That's far enough, because you would learn that it's 7.3. So then you just ask yourself, is 7.2 less than 7.3? Is it? Yes, it is. So either way, you're good there. But let's just prove the other one's wrong. This one I know is going to be, we can just turn this one into a decimal. It's 7 point, and then do 1 divided by 5. Same way we did it earlier. We're going to add the 0 on there, and it's going to be 0.2. So it's 7.2 is greater than 7.3. Is that a true statement? No, 7.2 is not greater than 7.3. Over here, you do the same thing. You do 3 divided by 4, you would end up getting 0.75. So that is 7.75. Is 7.75 greater than 7.9? No. And then here, we do the same thing. That's 7.5. Is 7.7 less than 7.5, guys? No. So when you're doing multiple choice, make sure that you are always finding the 3 wrong answers, which will lead you to the 1 correct answer, okay? All right. So that was learning target number 3. So everybody right now needs to, on the first line of learning target 3, you need to either do a check or an X on that to tell you whether you got that right or wrong, okay? Let's go on to number 2. Okay, the learning target here is learning target number 3 again. Okay, so we're going to have another check or X in a minute. It says find the first 3 common multiples of 4 and 6. Now, you could have done this a couple different ways. You could have taken and listed out all the multiples of 4 and 6. That's one way you could have done it. So remember, multiples are getting bigger. So that would be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, ... Okay, 6, 12, 18, 24, ... I'm going to stop there. The other way that you could have do it, and the way I really wanted you to do it, to be honest with you, was to actually imagine like putting the 3 lines here. What's another name for the first multiple they'll have in common, Kurt? The LCM. So the first one's going to be your LCM. So what you could do is you could have went and found your trees for 4 and 6. So we'll do it up here. 4 would be 2 and 2. And then 6 would be 2 and 3. You stack them up. Stack them up. We find that the GCF is 2, right? And then we multiply it by anything left over. That is where we're going to do 2 times 3 from there. And we're going to get 12. So we know the least common multiple of these 2 numbers, the LCM, equals 12. So that's going to be the first one. Once we find the first one, can't we just count by 12s then to find the next 2? So it's going to be 24 and then 36. So you could have done it either way, the red or the pink here. If you'd have done it this way, you would have said, okay, 12, okay, 24, and then eventually 36 would have been in here somewhere if you had done it that way. Okay, so the correct answer was letter B. Go ahead and give yourself a check or an X, please. Okay, number 3, guys, you had to show work here. Okay, you have to have work. This is learning target number 4, by the way. And you had to have work. It says it right there. Whenever it says this statement, everybody put that in brackets for me. Whenever it says product of its prime factors, it is talking about prime factorization. If you did not do the actual factor tree, then that you get it wrong because you did not show the appropriate amount of work. So you would have to take 80 And you could break it a lot of different ways. There's a lot of options here. I'm going to just go ahead and do, 8 and 10. You could have done 2 and 40, either way. I'm not going to circle either one because neither of those are prime. So now we're going to have 2 and 4. Not 4 and 4, but 2 and 4. I'm going to circle 2 because it's prime. I'm going to circle 2 and 2 again because those are prime. And then I'm going to do the same thing for 2 and 5. Either way, I can see that it is 1, 2, 3, 4 2s times 5. So we look on here, the only one that's got 4 2s times 5 is going to be letter D. But you had to show this work. Did everybody hear me? If you did not show this, it is incorrect. You do not get the credit because I put the W on your test to tell you that you needed it done. Okay, number 4. Find the least common multiple of 16 and 28. Okay, so this is learning target number 8. Whoops, writing with highlighter. Learning target number 8 here. And this is definitely one where you have to show work. You'd have to do your trees for 16. That's step number 1. You guys all know that. Nothing, I'm sure all of you did this because this is something I've went over and over again. Okay, 28. Okay, that's going to be 4 and 7. 7 is prime. And then 2 and 2. Okay, now I'm going to stack them up, and I'll do it up here. If you don't have this, you need to be writing it, remember. It's going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 7. Remember, the first step to finding the LCM is to what? Yep. Find the greatest common factor. So I look here and I say, okay, I see the greatest common factor is we have 2 common 2s, so that means the GCF is, hello? 4. Good job. Now you notice B is an answer there. If you put this as one of your, if you circled B, if you thought B was your answer, you're only doing half the problem. You're getting the 2 processes confused. Remember, you need to find the GCF in order to find the LCM. So now, from that, we are going to take that information to find the LCM, and we're going to do that by taking the GCF, and we are going to multiply by everything that wasn't common. So anything left over in our stacks. So times 2 times 2 times 7. And if you multiply that out, that's 8, 16, and then 16 times 7 you might have to do off to the side of your paper. It's fine. You're going to get 112, which makes the correct answer letter D. Okay? If you didn't have all that work, it is wrong. That's why I put the W next to it on your test. Okay? All right. Number 5 now. Let's go up. This is going to be learning target number 9, and it does have a W next to it, so you know you do need work here. Zana takes 27 minutes to read a chapter of a book. Noah takes 45 minutes to read a chapter of a book. If Zana and Noah start reading at 6:30, when will the next time they both finish a chapter at the same time be? That's what it's asking. Okay, so what are some key words here that we can highlight that would help us to be able to determine what this is, Erica?
The same time.
Same time, good. Serenity? Next time. You know, these are all good ones. There's one more important one, yeah? Yeah, it could be. That kind of goes with the time thing. Finish is okay. But there's one more, Cole.
The ghost?
Yeah, that doesn't really help. I mean, it's a good word, but it's not necessarily going to tell us whether it's GCF or LCM, yeah?
Well,
You're all, that goes along with the time. Remember, this word isn't necessarily there. Yep. Future. Everybody write it up top there, please. Everybody write future. Because we are trying to figure out when these 2 events are going to happen in the future. That's always going to be an LCM question. So we've got to find the LCM. Who can remind me, what is the first step to finding LCM again? Joe? GCF first. So I'm going to do this kind of quick. So if you don't have it, write it. Okay, so there we go. There's my trees, first of all. Okay, 5 and 9, and then 3 and 3. Okay, we're going to end up stacking those up to get 3 times 3 times 3, and 3 times 3 times 5. I see that we have a common factors of 3 and common factors of 3. That is going to give us a GCF of what, guys?
9.
It is going to be 9. Good job. Now, that's not the answer. That wouldn't make sense. Would they both be able to finish a chapter in 9 minutes? No, neither of them are, because one takes 27 minutes, one takes 45. So now we've got to go a step farther and find that least common multiple. Okay, so now we're going to find the LCM which is where we take 9, the GCF, times anything left over. So times 3 times 5 is going to give us 135. Did everybody hear that? So, notice that's not an answer. 135 is definitely the LCM. Do we all agree? But it's not the answer because it's not asking for in how many minutes will they both finish a chapter at the same time. It's asking for when. Give me a specific time. So we've got to figure out an hour and 135 minutes after 6:30. So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to take 135 minutes. Now, the first thing, here's how I think about it first of all. We're going to ask ourselves, how many full hours are in 135 minutes? Ritty? There are 2 full hours. Okay? So let me ask you, 2 full hours is how many minutes? Yep? 120. Okay? So we've taken 120 from this and turned it into hours. Agreed? So now, how many minutes do we have remaining then? Yep? 15. So what you're going to do is you would do 135 minus 120, and that's how you get 15. So that's 2 hours and 15 minutes. So now we're trying to figure out 2 hours and 15 minutes after 6:30. Well, 2 hours would be 8:30, plus 15 minutes then would be 8:45, letter A. If you didn't have the work that I just showed, it would be incorrect. All right? Make sure you're doing your checks and X's. That's learning target 9. So if you got it right, give yourself a check mark. If you got it incorrect, give yourself an X. All right, number 6, you had to show work here. Okay? This is learning target number 3, comparing rational numbers. Okay? There's 2 ways you could do it. You either needed to turn them both into decimals, or you could have had common denominator fractions. If you did common denominators, probably easiest thing would have been to just go ahead and make this one 9, right? Times 3 would make this 6. 6 ninths is what? Then 5 ninths. It would have to be greater than, right? Do we all agree? If you turned them both to decimals, you would have to do 2 divided by 3 and 5 divided by 9. If you did that, you would have learned that 2 divided by 3 would be 0.6 repeating, and 5 divided by 9 would be 0.5 repeating, and that's still going to be a greater than answer. Everybody got that? But you had to show one of those 2 methods, common denominators or decimals. Give yourself a check or an X on learning target number 3. Whoops. All right, number 7 here, finding the GCF. So obviously our first step is to do our trees. I'm going to do those quickly. We got 7 and 9. We break that to 3 and 3. 72 is going to be 8 and 9, and then 3 and 3. This is going to be 2 and 4. If you're missing them, maybe you did 4 and 4 for 8, something like that. That's a common mistake that we make. We're going to stack them up now, so I'll take 63, and I'm going to stack up the prime factorization. By the way, this is learning target number 7, and yes, you did have to show work on this. One thing you can do, just to ensure that you didn't mess this up in some way, just multiply these numbers out together. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 7 is definitely 63, right? Okay, this one here, we got 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. And then we can multiply that to make sure we're getting 72, and we would. So, what do you see that they have in common? Joe?
3.
I see a 3 in common. Do we see anything else in common? Ansley? Another 3. So then we take anything they have in common and multiply them. So that would be 3 and 3. We multiply to get 9. If you got 3, if you got letter D, you definitely found a CF, but you did not find the GCF of 9. Okay? Everybody at the bottom, before you flip the page, this page is out of 7. I want you to put the number of questions you got correct out of 7. So if you got them all correct, put a 7 over top of this 7. If you got 6 right, put 6. Okay? And once you're done, go to the next page. Make sure you do your checker X on learning target number 7. All right. Number 8 is going to be learning target number 6. Now, there was no work here, but if you did do work, you would want to identify all the factors of both of those. So this is where your factor rainbows would come in. So maybe you did 16. You said, okay, I know 1 is a factor. I know 2 is. Okay, 3. 1 plus 2, or 1 plus 6 is 7. Nope, doesn't have a 3. I know 4 is a factor. It doesn't end in 0, so it can't have a 5. It doesn't have 6. It doesn't have 7. It does have 8, though, doesn't it? And it does have 16. So there's the only factors of 16, right? Now you can do 36 two ways. You could list out every single factor that they have. Or you could just see if it has these ones, right? Because we're only looking for the ones they have in common. So you can almost just go through and say, I only care about these 5. So does 36 have a factor of 1? Yes. Does it have a factor of 2? Yeah, because it's even. Does it have a factor of 4? Yes, it does. Does it have a factor of 8? No, it doesn't. Does it have a factor of 16? No, it doesn't. So right there, I know that right there is the only 3 that they share, 1, 2, and 4, and it is letter A. Give yourself a check or an X on learning target number 6. Okay, number 9 is actually over here to the right. Okay, so make sure you jump to the right over here. Okay, this is going to be learning target number 6 again. You had to just pick the which one shows all the factors. So what's the matter with letter A? Why is letter A incorrect here? Erica? That's a prime factorization. That doesn't show all the factors. But what's missing? Right away, what should have been an immediate red flag with both A and D? What was missing? Jack?
They don't have 1.
They don't have 1. And we know that 1's a factor of all numbers. So we know A and D can be eliminated just like that. So then you have the same numbers. You have a list of numbers, and then you have a multiply. Which one would be the correctly showing all the factors? Pretty? It would be letter B. Good job. Give yourself a check or an X on learning target number 6. All right. Let's go down to number 10 here. This is learning target number 10, right? It's question 10, and it's learning target number 10. You had to show work here. Okay. What's the first step to doing this problem right here? Serenity? Finding the GCF for the 2 numbers right here. That's step number 1. So you can do that right here. That's going to be 4 and 4, 2 and 2. I'm going kind of fast on the prime factorizations because I think we do have that down. 3 and 8, 2 and 4, 2 and 2. Right, everybody? Now we're going to stack them up. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. What do they have in common? Well, they have 2's in common. They have another set of 2's and another set of 2's. So we know they have 3 2's in common. We have to multiply everything they have in common. The big mistake that people make is they think this is 6, because 2 plus 2 plus 2, or 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Now remember, 8 is not the answer. That is just the first step. Remember, we're trying to turn this into an expression that looks like this, right? If you don't have this, you should be writing it. GCF. It goes here. Now we'll ask ourselves, 8 times what would get me back to 16? Everybody? 2. 8 times what would get me to 24? That's what I need right there. Okay? Everybody see it? If you had the GCF of 4, it definitely is partial. It's not partially. It will be partially right on the sum of it. It's not to say it's wrong because you didn't use the GCF. Okay? Number 11, stating whether they are prime composite neither for 11, 12, and 13. These are all going to be learning target number 5. Learning target number 5. No work required on these. Learning target number 5. But I did give you a process. Who remembers what that process is that you could follow? Joe?
5 and 7.
Well, you forgot one thing before that, though. Trinity? Is it even or is it odd? If you don't have that, write it, please. You didn't have to have it, but I'd like you to write it now since this is now your study guide. Okay, even or odd. Is 51 even or odd? Well, if it's odd, we just know that we have to check 3, 5, and 7, right? So we check 3 by adding the digits. So 5 plus 1 is 6, guys, right? Is 6 divisible by 3? Then we know that 51 is divisible by 3. You could actually go and divide it if you wanted to and see if it actually gives you a whole number. It does. But we now know that this 51 has at least 3 factors because it has 1 in 51, but it also has 3, making it composite because we know composite numbers, or you can put B obviously, composite numbers are numbers that have more than 2 factors. Okay, prime numbers only have 2. 31, we once again know that's odd, so we're going to check 3, 5, and 7. Okay, 31, 3 plus 1 is 4. Nope, it can't be divided by 3. Does 31 end in a 5 or a 0? And 31, just think about your multiples of 7. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. No, not in there anywhere. So this right here is a prime number. Only has factors of 1 and 31. Give yourself a check or an X on learning target number 5. And finally, you guys know that the only two neithers are 1, and then what's the other neither? Lana?
0.
Yes, so I'm going to have you add that. 0, also neither. May need to know that for the summative. Okay, so check or an X on learning target number 5 for all those. Everybody got that? Cool? All right, let's go over here. Let's go to number 14. Okay, we had one of these. You've done one like this. You're going to have one just like it on the summative. So not going to be any tricks here. Marissa is organizing her DVDs into gift boxes to give her favorite friends. She wants each box to be identical to the others. There's what she has. She has 18 mysteries and 45 dramas. What is the greatest number of gift boxes that she can make? What are the key words that you see right away here? Cecilia. Yep. Yep. Everybody write that. I want everybody to, if you didn't underline gift boxes, do it now. And I'd like you to just write groups above it, please. Because anytime we're taking objects and putting them into groups, we are talking about GCF. What other keywords are there, Erica?
Greatest.
Greatest. That's a great one. Yeah, for sure. Ansley? Identical is another good one. So we've got to find the GCF of 18 and 45. So again, we got to start with our trees, right? Could have done 2 and 9 or 3 and 6. Oops, what am I doing? We know that 3 is prime, so we're going to circle it. We're going to break 6 to 2 and 3. 45 we'll do over here. 5 and 9. If you didn't have this work, it is wrong. You don't even get credit for the question if you didn't do the work. And then we know it's going to be 2 times 3 times 3 for 18. And then 3 times 3 times 5. Again, you can multiply those out to make sure it gives you 18 and gives you 45. It would. The only thing these numbers have in common are a 3 and another 3. So that means that the GCF would be 3 times 3, which is 9. Correct answer is 9 boxes, 9 gift boxes. Okay? Give yourself a check or an X on that learning target, please. Okay, now we already know that the answer for this one is 9, because we're making 9 boxes. So if I were to draw those boxes out, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's my boxes, right? And we want to know how many mystery DVDs there are going to go into each box. Well, if we have 18 mystery DVDs and we have 9 groups, isn't that going to be 18 divided by 9 and put 2 mysteries in each one? Yep. Dramas, we have 45 of them, so 45 divided by 9 would put 5 dramas in each box. And then if we have 2 mysteries and 5 dramas in each box, how many total DVDs will each friend get, Ansley? They'll get 7, yeah, for sure. Okay? Everybody got that? So those are all learning target number 9. The only one you needed work on was this one up here, guys. Okay? These ones you did not need work on. Before you flip the page, at the very bottom, I want you to put how many points you got out of, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Does that sound right? Wait, is there 10 questions on there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 10. So put what you got out of 10, please. Okay, and then flip to the next page. All right, last page here. Okay, it takes Mary, and this is learning target number 9 also, and yes, you need work here for sure. It takes 8 minutes for Mary to finish a crossword puzzle. Anna takes 12 minutes to finish a puzzle. If Marty and Anna start doing crossword puzzles at the same time, how long will they be doing the puzzles before they can complete one at the same time? Again, what are some key words here, Dritty? Future. Everybody write it up at the top here again. Future. Remember, it won't actually say the word future, but we're talking about things happening in the future. Erica? Again is a perfect one. Good. Also, same time, right? All these are good. So who can remind me, what is the first step to finding LCM? Because anytime we have future or same time, we're talking about LCM. What's the first step, Lana?
Find the greatest number of times.
GCF is going to be our first step. So we've got to do 8 and 12 trees. Okay, so again, I'm going to do these kind of quick. 3 and 4. Break that to 2 and 2. Break that to 2 and 4. Break that to 2 and 2. Okay, we stack them up. We get 2 times 2 times 3. And you had to have this work. We all know that by now, I think. We have common 2s, common 2s. We learned then that means the GCF is what, guys? 4. And then to find the LCM, switch colors 4, we then take that GCF 4 and we multiply it by anything that wasn't circled. And that's going to be 24. And there's your answer. Okay? So that means every 24 minutes, they're both going to finish a puzzle at the same time. You must have all that work, though, and give yourself a check or an X on learning target number 9. Okay? Everybody got that? It didn't ask anything about time, like what time will they finish, because it didn't give us a time. It was actually asking how long instead of when. That's the difference between this one and the one on the front. Okay? We go over to number 19 and 20. These are also, and I'm going to put the answer back over here because you need to use it. These are also learning target number 9 and 9. So how many total puzzles will Mary have completed? Well, or not Mary, but Marty. How often does Marty finish a puzzle? 8 minutes, right? So 8 minutes goes by. There's one. If I drew like a big timeline, you didn't have to do this, but if I drew one from there to there, let's say that's one puzzle, right? How many minutes just went by? 8. Okay. What if she did another puzzle then? So the second puzzle, another 8. So now we're up to 16 minutes, right? And then a third puzzle. Now we're up to 24. So how many puzzles did she actually complete in that time, or he? Yep, 3 of them. Okay, the other way to do it is just to simply take the amount of puzzles that were completed and divide it by how long it takes him to do one, or her to do one. And that's going to be 24 divided by 8 equals 3. So down here we'll do it that way. We'll do 24 divided by the 12 minutes that it takes Anna to finish a crossword puzzle, which is 2. Okay? So no work required on 19 or 20, but give yourself checks or X's on that. Everybody got that? Okay. 1 second. All right, man. All right. So now we'll go down. What is the interval represented on the number line? Remember, an interval is how much the number line is going up by. You can't have a number line that goes from 2 to 5 to 13 to 14. It has to go up by the same amount every time. So it's easiest to look at 0 and wherever the next one is. Because whatever that is, whatever it went to from 0, that's going to be your interval, right? So what is this number line actually counting by? What did you guys notice? Erica? It's counting by 1/4. So you could write it either way, 1/4 or 1/4. No work required. That is learning target number 1. Okay? Give yourself a check or an X. All right. Let's go down here. Okay, draw a vertical number line. So the key words here, first of all, draw a vertical. You got to know what vertical is. And you had to know what horizontal is for number 23. It says, draw a vertical number line to represent fractions between, is that an important word? 5 and 6 with an interval of 1/5 between the fractions. So, first of all, this is a vertical one. If you did one that was side to side, that's horizontal. You get it wrong. Okay? This is learning target number 2. Everybody got that? Since it's a vertical number line, do the bigger numbers go to the bottom or do the smaller numbers go to the bottom? Smaller go to the bottom. So let me ask you guys, are we going to put 5 and 6 on this number line? No, because of this word. We only want what's in between 5 and 6. So what is going to be the first number on this number line, Grant? But what's going to be the first actual number, though? Isn't it going to be 5 and 1/5? Yep. So if you had a horizontal, it's wrong. If you put 5 on your number line, it's wrong. What's going to be the next number on our vertical number line here, Erica? 5 and 2/5. What's going to be the next number, Cole? 5 and 3/5. What's going to be the next number on there, Serenity? 5 and 4/5. What's going to be the next number on there? Nothing. We're done. Because the next one would be 5 and 5/5, which equals 6. And we don't want 5 and 6. We want what's in between them. Do we all understand that? If you had to have it exactly like that. Now, you could have put, if you did one mixed number here, one on this side, one on this side, one on this side, that's fine. Okay? Give yourself a check or an X. Let's go down to the last one here. Draw a horizontal number line to represent odd numbers between 11 and 21. So there's some key words. Horizontal is a key word. And then isn't odd numbers an important one? And between. So let me ask you, are we going to include 11 and 21 on this number line? No, we are not. So let me ask you, I draw my horizontal number line here. What's going to be the first number, the smallest number on my number line here? Cole?
13.
It's going to be 13. Why not 12? Why not 12 here? Landon? No. That's Lana? 12 is an even number, so then we only want odd. So 13, 15, 17, and would we put 19? Would we go 21 though? No, you can only have those four numbers on there. Everybody got that? At the bottom of that page, everybody please put what you got out of 6. Put what you got out of 6, please. Okay, now going back to the front, you all need to total up how many questions you got correct, and you need to put what you got out of 23. Okay, out of the number of questions correct out of 23.